Chapter 13 of Boruto 2 Vortex finally released, and like I said about the spoilers, this chapter is absolute peak. Kishimoto really been on a hot streak, and he just not stopping for real. So the chapter begins with Jura preparing his last attack to finish off Boruto and say his final goodbyes. Mamushi then appears from Jura's cloak and tells him that Missouri has returned from investigating and has come to the conclusion that Boruto has an accomplice, which is where he's been getting all his intel from. Mamushi notices Hidara's Stern Soul Ball and sees that he must have got himself killed. Jura decides the best move is to retreat and bring back Hidari, and he acknowledges that his opponents are formidable. He calls Boruto lucky as he was about to kill him, but now has more important things, almost as if some divine intervention has just happened, and we see Boruto begin to lose consciousness. Boruto passes out, and we get a flashback of him running from the guards of Konoha. Through his toll, Koji Kaisen finally finds Boruto. Koji tells him that he's surrounded by about 20 shinobis. Boruto questions it, but Koji reassures him he's not a foe. Koji tells Boruto he has to get him out of here. Boruto, still being suspicious, finally agrees to come along, and Koji summons him to his new hideout. Koji tells Boruto that they are in one of Orochimaru's hideouts, and he camouflaged the entrance with Genjutsu. As we know already, the Toad is a scientific ninja tool, aka our goat Filbert. Shout out my man Filbert, but he really went of a kind. Boruto doesn't recognize Koji. Koji grabs his broken mask. Boruto begins to remember who he is, which makes sense, because it's been 3 years and he never saw him without his mask. Boruto remembers Koji killing Ao and fighting Konohamaru, but Koji then interrupts him and asks, had he always been Boruto Uzumaki since he was born? Boruto, slightly confused, asks him, does he know about Omnipotent? And Koji tells him his head has been saying he's Ishika's vessel, but he also doesn't know about the ability called Omnipotence. Koji tells Boruto even Omnipotence has affected him, but he's able to grasp the actual state of everything because he already knew the possibility of it happening. And he even apologized for fighting all of them. He was only following orders. Boruto knows that feeling of following orders, since he's Shinobi as well. Koji goes on to explain how his fight with Ishiki exceeded his expectations, and he was satisfied with dragging him out of Jigen, and at that very moment, he accepted his death. Koji Kaisen, on the brink of death, saw various different scenes, possible futures. Baryamo, Ida and Damon, Code, Omnipotence, and even the Shinju, plus another one who clearly resembles Shinki. Now that's a little crazy, I ain't gonna lie. Kishimoto, you better chill with this immaculate writing. You out here putting out fire after fire after fire, bro. You gotta stop. I'm about to put you out. After seeing the possible future outcomes, Koji realizes that it doesn't stop even if Ishiki dies. The planet is still in danger unless the Ten Tails is destroyed. And at that very moment, he knew he couldn't die. So that's when he escapes Ishiki, and now we know what happened at the very moment right before his death. Koji's got a biggest purpose now, and since then, he's able to fully understand his new ability. He tells Boruto he knew about him and Kawaki switching positions, but was able to confirm other parts due to his conversation with him. Boruto questions how he got this power. He brings up Shibai Otsutsuki and how he acquired all sorts of Shinjutsu by devouring tons of planets. Here comes the fat, juicy, scrumptious part, boys. But he says every card member who was enhanced by Amado got Shibai's cells planted into them to manifest one of his many Shinjutsus. Code, Ida, and Damon manifested some of his Shinjutsus. Boro, Delta, and him never manifested theirs. But on the brink of death, his Shinjutsu ability to see all possible futures emerged, called Prescient, which, by the way, in the translated version, it said it's called 10 Directions, which is why it's important to read the official version. But we still appreciate the translator out there who translated the chapter early. Y'all always come through every chapter. I appreciate y'all, feel me? I thank you. Koji tells Boruto, future isn't one straight line. It's like a battle royale between destinies. He mentions one outcome they managed to avoid, which was Ishiki killing Naruto, resurrecting in Kawaki's body, and planting the divine tree. Another is where Kawaki kills Boruto and Sarada. They never switch places. Kawaki loses the code and gets devoured by the Ten Tails, and the divine tree destroys the planet. See, I told y'all, this was the fat, juicy part. You feel me? So much information was relayed to us, and the fact that these futures almost happened is crazy. Things could have been so much different, but I'm telling you, I believe Sarada, Sumire, Himawari will be the biggest reasons why certain futures won't happen, bro. Mark my words. Boruto has some suspicions about Koji's new ability, but can't deny that it makes sense. He says the biggest advantage of this ability is the intel, which can help Boruto with his life on the run. Koji says he can also teach him the moves and jutsus he learns in the future to his current self, which could accelerate his training. And not only he tells Boruto that he show him how to save Sasuke, but there's something even more important that he has to tell Boruto, which means we got another fat, juicy, scrumptious part of information coming. So listen up. Koji talks about the worst possible future, which is the Ten Tails breaking free of Code's control, evolving in a new way, all possess individual minds, which we already know as the Shinju clones. He tells Boruto it will be ideal to get rid of the Ten Tails, but the likelihood of them succeeding is low. In almost all futures, the Shinju clones will exist. Koji warns Boruto about the most dangerous one, which is Jura the leader. Not only is the most dangerous, but he's also the one who kills Boruto. Well, damn. So it's almost inevitable that we will see Jiraiya and Boruto go against each other, which is going to be a movie. But like I said earlier, watching Iwari, Sarada, and Sumire alongside Boruto, they might change the outcome. I feel it in my bones. My senses is tingling. He mentions it's not an absolute thing, but in many futures, it does happen. And so does Kawaki being devoured and the planet destroyed. Boruto says he will not agree to any plan that involves killing Kawaki because he wants to knock some sense into him and get his family back together. Look at Naruto's son, man. So inspirational. My man, Young Lord, whips out that Sasuke headband, puts that big thing on his head.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And said he's going to finish Cole and the Ten Tails. Well, unfortunately, we know he failed both of those tasks as of right now. But let's see how the story plays out. I believe in my man Young Lord. Don't you too? You feel me? Don't we all? Boruto starts to wake back up as Sumire is there, tries to tend to his wounds. Konohamaru is examining Sarada's injury to her hand. Himawari jumps right up and runs over to Sarada with no hesitation. She grabs her hand and starts to heal her injury, leaving Sarada and Konohamaru in shock since they haven't seen her new awakened power from the Nine Tails. Sumire calls for Himawari to come heal Boruto, but Kawaki intervenes. He tells her to hold on. Before she heals him, they need to take some extra precaution. So Konohamaru pulls out these sealing jutsu cuffs Amado made and places them on Boruto so he can't use any jutsu. Kawaki takes his opportunity to examine Boruto's body and finds Koji's toad in his clothes. He notices right away who this belongs to, and then the toad vanishes. But for some reason, Kawaki chooses to keep this information to himself. Koji acknowledges the situation just got worse. It now switches to the Ten Tails hideout, and it shows Jiraiya placing Hidare's thorn soul on the cube, and the trees begin to come down towards it. Boom, Hidari is now reborn. And he even remembers who he is. Missouri asks Jiraiya, is in the time. Now I'm thinking the same thing. Time for what? Dun, dun, dun. Another Thorn Soul Bulb. What the freak? Another Thorn Soul Bulb. Missouri is anxious to see who emerges. Jiraiya finally agrees time to harvest it. Missouri takes it, places it on the cube, and Jiraiya sits back trying to figure out a name for the new Shinju clone. And boom, that's how the chapter ends. This chapter was absolute peak, bro. All the information, the lore, it answered questions, even raised new questions, especially about Koji Kaijin and his new ability. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out. And since there's so many different outcomes that could happen, will Jiraiya really kill Boruto? Who is the new Shinju clone? Did Koji see Boruto have the Jogen in any of the futures? The story got so much better after this chapter, and I'm excited to see what's next and what's to come along because it's just getting better and better every chapter. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for watching my video. It means a lot. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, see y'all in my next video.